So I've had quite a few people ask me about the bowls of wash that I paint from when I'm painting. So I have quite a few other bowls down in the bottom of my map drawers, but these are the ones that I'm using at the moment. And I haven't painted for quite a few days. So when I come and grab these, bowls, you can see here there's a burnt umber one. And when I come and grab these, and they've been around for a while and dried out, you can see that this one, especially this burnt umber, has bits around the outside here. It's pretty crusty. It looks pretty bad, but actually it's fine. I just spray some water into there, let it sit for a while, and then recharge it. So same for cerulean blue. You can see here, you can see that there's some cracks there, and it's dried out just like clay or soil would on the earth. So I suppose, so all I do is just come along and add some water. So I get my spray bottle and I come along and I just add some water. So I use a spray bottle so I don't add too much, and I just add enough so that it's just going to cover the paint. So then I let that sit there, and the longer I can let that sit there, the better. And I just do that for all the bowls. So I come along with all the bowls, and I just put enough paint on top to just cover it. So you can see with all of these, they look pretty bad in lots of ways. You see that? Like, it looks pretty bad. I suppose people might think that's not usable, but it's totally fine. So I just put a water film over the top. Obviously I need less water for in the smaller bowls. But the larger bowls, especially if I've got a fair bit of pigment in there, it's going to require a bit of water to just cover them. Lovely. So I just let that just sit there. I just let that water sit on top. You can see that water is not really merging much with the paint, but over time it'll soak in. And then I just use these hog's hair bristle brushes to recharge them. So this is the one I use for warm colours, and these ones for cool colours. And then after a while I don't have enough bristles left, and I go and buy another one. So they're the brushes that I just use to recharge them up, and once they've been sitting there for the water on top for a couple of hours, then they're ready to go. So that's the system that I use with all those bowls. Sometimes I mix up some colours, so if you've watched any of my videos, you'd see that I use this mix of light red and cobalt blue quite a lot. And I also use this mix over here of Winsor blue red shade and light red. That's another mix that I use quite a bit of. But obviously, and then I also obviously use this desk here to mix colours on. And then also, if you have a look down here, I have some spare bowls, but it's probably a bit dark for you down there. But I have some spare bowls down there. That's where I keep paintings and paints. And so if I wanted to mix up let me just put this down for a second. And so if I wanted to mix up a bit more burnt umber, all I do is just get the tube. This is like a 14mm tube. I just get that tube and I squeeze it out into there. Squeeze out a good amount of pigment. like that. And then I just get my my warm brush. I'll add obviously a bit more water, and normally I'd use 2 hands to do this, but I'll just start working my way while normally tilting the bowl so the water wasn't completely surrounding the pigment. And I just start, and I obviously normally hang on to the bowl too, but I just start combining that pigment into the water that's there until I've made a mix that, you know, I'm happy with. So not quite doing it the way I would normally do it with one hand, but I suppose you get the gist. So then I make up a wash like that, and then over time it dries, and I come back and recharge it again. So whenever I get a bit low, I just add a bit more pigment, and then recharge it again. And to be honest, for me that just works beautifully. So that's, you know, for me, that sort of consistency, like I would do more mixing of course so that it's fully combined, but in terms of that thickness, that's about as weak as I would have it. So in other words, I would normally have it like that, or if anything a bit stronger. And then I can water it down if I want to on the desk, or if I'm adding it into wet in wet, it'll actually automatically get watered down. So that's what I do with that. So hopefully that's answered a few questions for you guys who have been asking about that. If you've got any other questions about my paints, my bowls, my setup, brushes, anything like that, then feel free to ask another question and I'll answer it. So thanks for watching tonight about these the bowls and how I mix up my washes. So hopefully that was helpful to see what I do and how that all works. And so the best thing from my point of view is to just come in a long time before you're going to paint, and that way then it's not a really hard job to mix them up. If you just come in straight away, spray that, and then want to start painting straight away, it's going to take a long time. Like it might be like, I don't know, about half an hour, 3/4 of an hour if you want to mix all of these beautifully and well, ready to paint again. So I suppose that's why I normally come in hours before, put the water in, and then come back later. So that works out well for me. So thanks for joining me in this episode, and I will see you in the next one when I'm actually doing some painting. And thanks very much for subscribing and watching. I'm really blown away actually by how much you guys are liking this style of watercolor. I know it's slightly unusual, but you know, thanks for watching, and I'm glad that you guys are finding them helpful. So thanks very much, and I'll see you soon. Good night.